I was expecting. Can you?
All right. Let's just make sure that the audio is good, and then we can get started. Welcome if you're watching us live. Yep, audio sounds good. Perfect. What's going on, everyone? All right. So if you're watching us broadcast, you're watching us live broadcast, you're watching us rebroadcast, it doesn't matter. Thank you for stopping by. We're gonna have some fun. What's going on, babe?
Nothing much. Chilling.
Not much, right? As usual. Well, it's February 2022. Can you believe it? All right. So we're going to run through a few things. We just wanted to catch up with you. We kind of like slow down on the daily video things, you know. We slow down completely on that. I wanted to bring you up to speed with the platform, LOLA and OLA, the YouTube channel especially, and to show you some growth and just bring you up to speed. We just hit 900 subscribers, and we're looking to, I know, right? Yay! And we're looking to get that up to, to 1,000 as soon as possible, to 100,000 as soon as possible. So please, thank you so much. Help us share, like, subscribe. As you're here right now, just go ahead and hit the like button, you know.
Don't be scared, eh?
Just to help us boost the video. All right, so couple of things. We have some comments we want to react to. Comments from you or some of the videos that we released over the past few, and then we also we're going to talk about the 34 years sexless marriage thing. There's actually a comment, we're going to respond to it. It's about 3 videos here. If you don't follow us on Instagram, please go ahead and follow us on Instagram. She makes sure that you're laughing on regular.
They make me laugh, so
right? As she laughs, she makes sure that you can laugh,
to
you know.
Guys, eh?
Yeah. So definitely. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and go into the comment, and let's react to some of the comments here. All right. So people are going through a lot, obviously. I'll read them to you so that you can. I want to hear what your take are on this, on some of this comment, and then after that we'll laugh a little bit. Okay. So
as long as you're making me laugh.
Huh?
As long as you're making me laugh.
Me? That's all you need.
That's all I need. That's
how am I
all
doing with
want.
that? How am I doing with that?
Yeah, doing good.
Don't mind me.
Keep it up. Okay.
All right. So I've got a person here, Intergalactic Negro.
Jesus.
And I could see that this is an edited comment already. So I'm not sure if maybe they don't feel too safe sharing this with us, but nonetheless, we're going to learn from this, right? So I want to hear your take on this. This was actually 5 hours ago. I didn't realize that. He says, I've been married for 6 years, together for 10. No kids. These are live comments. These are comments on our platform, just so you know, right? No kids, together, thank God. Damn. Man, my wife shoots down anything I say within seconds. That's real.
That's real. Do you feel like you're in that situation?
I've been there.
Because you're like, that's real.
I can relate. Not a lot. Not a lot, but I can relate. Trust me. Listen, if I couldn't relate, there's no way I can help anyone else.
No, I'm just asking.
You know? I know.
Do you get shut down all the time? Shots fired?
Yeah. So she doesn't even bother to think about it. Just automatically shoots everything down. It's like she thinks I'm just a moron with no brain. LOL. It's funny, but it's not funny. My wife actually is all 5 of these signs. Oh, okay, so this is the 5 signs. No respect from your wife.
What a wake-up call.
You know, it's one of our biggest videos. What a wake-up call. Damn. All right, so what do you say to this kind of brother? I mean, the only thing we can do is encourage. What kind of encouragement do you have for this person?
I've been married for 6 years, together for 10, no kids together. Thank God. That thank God part. I mean...
Yeah, that means he's hoping one day we'll gain enough courage to just leave.
Exactly. So what I'm trying to say is, obviously this guy is miserable. Obviously, from everything is said, that his wife shuts him down, like, you know. Obviously, she can't stand his ass right now. It's just annoying to her. She's not in a safe place. She's not enjoying the marriage. He's not enjoying the marriage.
So,
yeah.
Is his fault?
I didn't say that. I'm just saying, this toxic situation you got going on right now, you guys are both miserable. So... if you're not going to do anything about it, and you're just going to get stuck in a miserable situation,
right,
you might as well pack your bag and leave. And I know that that's very hard for people to do,
right,
but at the end of the day, how many years are you going to spend in a relationship that you feel like, I mean, look at everything it said. Clearly he's not happy. Clearly he's not having a good time. His marriage sucks. He's like, thank God I don't have kids with this bitch. Excuse me. But that's what I'm getting from that conversation.
Yeah.
So why be there? A lot of people will waste time in relationships that is not serving them. All in the name of marriage is a duty. Maybe it's going to change. What if it doesn't change? Have you seen situations that have never changed?
So are you saying he should leave right now?
I'm saying that he could be separated and be happy. Or he could stay there and be miserable for the rest of his life. Or he could do something. Or he could do something about it. Like seek for help. Instead of just being in a limbo.
Modern women.
That's all I'm saying.
Modern women.
So you can, Yoruba people will say, Toba kowaju si ekota. Toba kẹ́yìn si ekota. Toba kuwani kokotero arepa. It means that the ball is really in your court. You do what serves you the best.
All right, we're struggle streaming. Motherfucking speed internet.
I was struggling.
Motherfucker. Fucking Xfinity. But anyway.
Now I feel like I'm in Nigeria. I'm sorry. No,
this is terrible.
Fired at Nigerians. I'm just saying.
It seems like it's good now, but yeah, it's just annoying when we pay money for these things and it happens. But anyway, yeah, modern women. Anyway, I don't think it's necessarily modern women. I think it's women in general. She just told you what she would do if she was a woman. And unfortunately, babe, the problem is that men don't think that way. When a man subscribes and comes into marriage, right? He means it.
Okay. But if you're asking me for my advice,
it's like I'm suggesting that women don't mean it, right?
Why are you coming to me and asking me this advice if you know that I can't help you? You know? I feel like a lot of people, sometimes they have their mind made up, but they want someone to validate that decision they've taken for themselves. Now I've given you 3 options. It's so sad that you're in this situation, but what are you going to do about it? One of the things I am sick of modern day people, since we're talking about modern day women,
Right.
modern day people, is that we rant and rant and rant and we don't do nothing about it. What are you doing about it?
So my question is, what should he do about
I
it?
told you I gave you
He should
3
leave.
options.
You said he should leave.
It's
You said he should
either you
separate.
seek for help. Secondly, is either you separate and be happy, or you might not even be happy. It's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Thirdly, you should. What was my third advice?
I'm glad you just said what you just said. Separation does not guarantee
No, it
happiness.
does not guarantee, because happiness comes from
Oh,
inside. No
there
one
we
can
go.
give it to you. Only you can make yourself happy. And as old, look, the older I get,
Right.
okay, because I can relate. The older I get, I know that you can make me happy. I have to make myself happy.
Right.
You being here
Is that an absolute?
is a bonus. No, in my opinion, it is absolute.
All
that
right.
I can only make myself happy. That is absolute, because it's up to me.
So you never get into a space where you said you're not happy, and like I can't do this marriage anymore. You're saying that's never, like
the
never.
ball is always in my court, is what I'm saying.
But what about
I
with
have
respect to the
some
marriage?
power.
I know that you can leave the
Is a
marriage.
duty. I said we can seek for help,
Mm-hmm.
or we can sit down and wallow in this misery
Right.
and be complaining all the time. But as you know, complaining does not make the problem go away.
Right.
So what are the decisions or the steps you need to take to get out of the funk? And if you have a spouse that is not ready to get out of the funk,
Right.
what do? Do you live in a limbo because
Right.
marriage is a duty? It's a question, babe.
Oh, okay. It's interesting, you know.
I'm just saying.
I just find it interesting that let's see here. I just find it extremely interesting. Let me see. I went to the wrong screen over there.
Look.
You know, here's what I find interesting.
Yeah,
go
tell
ahead.
me. I'm
go
on
ahead,
the
babe.
age, okay?
Go ahead. You want to tell me something?
I am going into the 41st year of my life. I'm going to be 41 tomorrow.
Awesome.
cannot
Happy
afford-
birthday
Hey,
to you.
Thank you. I cannot afford
Happy birthday
to
to
not
you.
live my best life
Okay.
every single day.
So here we go again. We're going back to the same way, and I already hear you on that, right?
Okay.
That,
Maybe you didn't
hey,
hear me clear enough.
Hey,
I got to specify.
the point you're making is that marriage is not do or die.
Hey, you know I've always felt that way about marriage, though.
Okay.
Because some marriages are just so toxic. They're not meant to be. I know everyone will get married. I hate
I'm
to
sure
say
the ladies that will hear this will agree with you.
Ah.
But the men are gonna be like,
that I'm for the streets.
no, wait. No, not
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I
no,
don't-
no, it's not that deep. No,
Yeah,
it's
I
not that
don't
deep.
like the truth.
The men are gonna be like,
How dare she say that? Look,
listen, that's the beauty about us here. You can get both sides of it. She will let you know the reality. The reality is what she just said. The reality is also what I'm about to say, because this is how men think of marriage. Okay.
it's a responsibility.
Listen, you have a lot of men saying right now that marriage is just a bad deal. Precisely because of this topic. Right?
It's a bad deal.
Yes, and I'll explain.
I don't totally agree with that.
You're not a man.
That's so extreme. Why is it a bad deal?
You want to know?
Please educate me.
Would you like to know?
I would love to know.
Okay, all right.
I'm interested.
Yeah, all right.
Marriage is a bad
There's a lot of men saying marriage is a bad deal because the idea of for better for worse, right? Men take that to heart,
Yeah.
right? And they take that to heart, right? Not that they're not
Which
going to
men? Is
misbehave.
it all men?
All men that actually go to the office.
So they're going to misbehave, but they take it to
They
heart.
they may
Oh,
misbehave, but they have zero plans. Even if you misbehave, even if they run their mouth and say, "Hey, if you want to cheat, you never leave." No, they tend to, because it makes a man feel like a failure if he gets married and he loses that marriage. It makes him feel like a
it is
failure.
kind of it's a failure. It is what it is.
So what a woman typically do when the marriage fails is that she may go through misery until the point where she's done, and then she will justify that fuck that marriage anyway.
No, she is more like, I can't come and kill myself. Excuse me.
That's the reality, right?
Yes.
Okay, but a man usually doesn't see Usually, it's not always. Usually, this side doesn't see that his marriage is deteriorating until it's done.
Wait, he's not looking at the signs. He doesn't see the signs, or he's
He
oblivious.
believed, for better for worse. That's what you fucking subscribe to. That means even worse of maybe I'm cheating or I'm doing all of that. Right? It means that some people say, does it mean opposite to? Yeah, actually, a lot of men mean that. You know, they may not say it out in words. Like, of course, they don't want to say it's okay for my wife to go and cheat. Nobody wants that, right? But a lot of men will stay if that's what it comes down to, especially if it's not like a repeat thing, right?
So if you're gonna stay, which I've agreed that it's okay if you want to stay, what are you gonna do about it?
No. I'm still getting to a point. I'm still describing here. I'm long-winded. I'm sorry.
Oh, you
I
are.
know.
Now
Okay.
you know.
Okay, but that's because I'm also giving you. I need you to get everything out. Get it out, right?
Okay.
All right. So, but anyway, men really mean it. It's not like women don't mean it,
Assure me.
but women operate more so in what they feel right now.
Women, we're like the weather. We're like Mother Nature.
Yes.
She can
So
tell
just
it's
because
gonna
you
be
meant
sunny,
it.
but it's windy.
Right.
Like, what the hell
So
are you doing?
precisely what a woman typically is missing is that they committed without committing. Because commitment means you have to, whatever you committed to, you stay committed to it, even in the worst of it, right? But the commitment of a woman is, she said, I'm committed. Okay, that I mean that now, right?
Yeah, because
Tomorrow,
it feels good right now.
Right now.
I love it. Can I have this now be like this every
Yeah.
day? But it's
Yeah.
not like that
But
in reality.
it may be different tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's come on.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It may be different tomorrow, and that's where the issue comes in. That's trying
That's
to see
why
if
we
I can get
struggle with it.
Let's see if we can get a faster internet here because this thing is acting up.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. So there's a difference there, right? So if we go back to this comment that we're reacting to, right?
Right.
If we go back to it, what this gentleman is saying is that it's been 6 years, right? He's been married for 6 years, been together for 10. He feels like he gets shut down all the time, right? The last thing, he feels a little bit different about the idea of separation. He's actively trying to keep his family together. And the natural instinct is that if he goes try to do anything that looks like separation, or if he hold her accountable, you know, like this is not cool or anything like that. Like, don't talk to me like that. Every time he does that, it makes him feel like he's shutting you down or working backwards in terms of working towards success in the marriage. But I agree with you. The reason why I agree with you is because I understand how these things work from a mental standpoint, from a human behavior standpoint. If anything is readily available, it will be taken for granted.
Assure me.
But I needed to acknowledge that a typical man, they don't realize that. Instead, they keep hogging onto it, right? Until the person feels smothered and eventually maybe leaves or something like that.
Right.
Or continue to make you feel miserable. So I would say definitely back off of her a little bit. Whatever that means to you. Back off a little bit. And yes, the risk here that most men are afraid of taking is that I may lose my family. That's the risk you're willing to take as a man.
He doesn't have any kids with her. Like you said, thank God.
Like
Doesn't
you
have
already
any
said.
kids.
So imagine
So-
if you had kids in Wanko, right? A person that doesn't have kids is already having a difficult time, not just being able to leave.
So
even
that
stay
means
there, right?
he there's some value attached to that. I'm sorry, you can't be 100% miserable and because marriage is a duty, just stay there.
I'll tell you
There
what
has
the
to be
value is.
something that is getting from it.
So the value could be attachment presently, and we know that it's not healthy for him
Unhealthy
based off of what he
attachment.
said, right? So we know that the value is this value that he's getting, which is attached. It doesn't. Well, that value is not going to last. You're going to self-drain yourself. You need to let go of it. Right. All right. With that being said, let's watch this.
I was expecting when I came into the marriage. But Pastor, this was what I saw.
Oh, God, they want me. How can you satisfy your wife with this bembele thing?
But Counselor, it's not like that. Eh? This is what I was expecting. But this is what I saw. This is what I saw.
Terrible.
Oh my God.
That's terrible, right?
Don't kill me with these kids.
Does size matter?
according to the sex experts, size does not matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, according to them.
Did you just watch that video?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
But again, I can't relate. I really can't.
You can't relate.
I can't. So I can't really. I feel like it's someone that's been through the, maybe has had a small one or a big one that can actually explain the situation to us. But like studies have shown us, size doesn't matter. The JJ
at some point, let me say, at some point,
and it comes right back
comes
like
every single person,
like a rubber band. But then if a guy has a small pee, I don't know.
So it matters.
Again,
you just said I don't know.
I cannot answer the question. That's why I said I don't know. I really don't know. I can't relate. So
she literally just said I don't know. Can you imagine?
I don't know. I don't know what I don't know.
Terrible, baby. That's terrible.
The one I can relate with, I would defend for you. I would defend. But the one I can't relate with, hey, I can sit down here and say it doesn't matter, and you don't know what it feels like until you've been there.
Yeah.
If you have a partner that really has a tiny pee-pee.
I think anytime anything becomes a topic, that means it matters. To some extent, at least.
If somebody's
complaining, that means it matters.
Care.
Yeah. At least to some extent. Not absolute. It may not be your actual problem, right? But it clearly matters. People will point at anything they see and say that's the problem when they haven't figured out what the actual problem is, right? So if you have a small something, small bola, and you're having trouble satisfying your woman, the first thing she will point out is that the fact you have small bola.
In fact, I'm a little disappointed in the girl. How you go in a marriage and not know what the bola looks like? This is what happens. You'll be shocked.
Well, there are people with religious value that make them want to do that. But just hopefully you are aware that that's the risk you're taking.
At least I want to see.
But some people feel on it. They say they can feel, you can feel on it. For example, for me, even if I was subscribed to that value system of virginity or celibacy before marriage, there's no way I'm marrying you if I am not so turned on that I would have touched you enough that you would have felt
At least
it.
you would have seen something.
Your body will shake.
I'm just saying, hey.
Right? You will be able to let me see here if I can, because this is ridiculous here. So let me see if I can.
Wait, you're still struggling with this?
We're struggling streaming, yeah. We're struggling streaming.
Oh, wow.
Let me see. Okay. Let me see if this would be better. I'm hardwiring it in right now.
Okay.
Okay, I think. Let's try that. Am I connected to landline? Okay, let's try that. Let me try this. I'm testing it right now. Let's just all right, looks like we're good. I went and connected to wait, where is it? What's going on here? What's going on? Okay, they're both connected. All right. I don't know. You see this thing when the bars start to show, that means it's slow.
Oh, okay.
It's just one of those days, I guess. Well, struggle streaming. That's why I probably don't want to stream too much too. But anyway, yeah, I think people point at anything they can see when the issue may be deeper. So you not being able to satisfy your wife is the issue is actually you not learning this, understanding that this is a skill set that you can learn on how to satisfy your wife. People will point at size, right? It's the same thing too as far as the size of the So I think people should just learn that life is a skill set. Manhood is a skill set. Marriage is a skill set. A lot of people are winding things along, right? Or a lot of people are too overly soaked up in religious values and they don't realize that there's reality. There are principles that make life work the way it works, right? So if you Like I said, if I'm not attracted to you to the point that I'm always turned on around you, that we're tempted a few times, even before we get married, even if I'm subscribed to celibacy, I probably won't be marrying that person if you're not turning me on at that level.
I want to know. I'm too curious.
Right? So it has to be a challenge for us to maintain, our virginity. If it's not a challenge, that means we're not attracted to each other.
And does that mean that there's no hope for people with the little PPs and big VJJs? I feel like people should just not shy away from sex toys. You have all these things at your disposal,
I mean, there's human evolution, and if you're stuck in the ape age, there's suffering that comes with that. There's consequences to that. You have to be open. Now, to a certain extent, you have to make sure you're comfortable too. Don't let people force you into things. And they said,
things that you don't want to do.
There's this microphone. We have to put it inside. Okay, all right.
No, I beg.
Right? You have to be comfortable too. So it's about finding the balance.
Yes.
Be open, but find the balance, and be open and find the balance. Be close-minded a little bit according to your values too. Don't fall for societal pressures.
No,
because that will backfire eventually too.
As long as you like it, because I don't discriminate when it comes to that. Whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But comfort is key when it comes to.
Yeah.
So
let's go on to the second comment here. The second comment says, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church."
One day, they're
One
gonna
day.
preach. Like we don't do
And
that.
gave himself for it. Remember what? Actually, this is a very important verse that my father actually unpacked for me.
Okay.
Remember when Christ gave himself for the church, he set holy standards of behavior. The holy part is wrong. Cut it out. Here's why it's wrong, okay? Number one, you're not quoting the Bible anymore here. And that Bible verse said nothing about holy. Right? But you just injected holy into it. And there's a good chance they're going to project that onto the other human being that you're engaged with. And you will be judgmental.
But is
Just a
it
good chance.
possible for a human being to be holy?
Yes.
It is?
Yes, I'll
So
explain.
there's a holy human being?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Humility. The more humble you are as a person, as a human being, that you're not God, the closer you are to holiness. The more arrogant you are about your own ideologies of perfection, the further away you are from holiness. Because you're going to judge other people. You're not going to listen long enough to even know that humans are just humans. And your first skill set in life is how to build relationships, how to nurture relationships. You're not going to do that when you're on a high horse and you think of everyone as less than. Even when we're talking about religion. Right? So when I hear set holy standards, I don't know where this is going. I could be wrong, by the way. Mumabe. So Christ dying for the church cannot tolerate disrespectful or dishonorable behavior. So no tolerance. Again, how closer are you to love? Now let's talk about love. When you have zero tolerance. Does that sound like love? Does that sound like you can love somebody in a way that they feel free? It's already, see, as much as we like to paint it as religion, you're already sounding judgmental already.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm reading it for the first time, okay? All right, so as Christ loved the church means that he promotes behaviors that are in accordance with God's laws and instructions, right? And I'm guessing that this is your interpretation of what God's laws are, right? Whereas the number one God law is love. Okay, instructions. That means soldier, military. Like that.
Like a zombie.
Right. If a woman disrespects a husband who abides in Christ, oh, this is the ultimate crime. Your husband abides in Christ. Never mind that he's judgmental about his Christ.
Holiness.
Like projecting onto you what Christ apparently said, or Pastor Paul said, right? Never mind. He's abiding in Christ. And if you dare disrespect him, let's see what he said about that. If a woman disrespects a husband who abides in Christ and is undeserving of such behavior, who determines undeserving?
I guess him.
Him himself. Okay, him all by himself. I wonder why he's not staying with himself. Why get married?
You need another person.
Why get married to to have to feel this way. If you're deserving, just give yourself all the love you need. You don't need this other person to give you love. Of such behavior, she has violated God's law, and as such, the matter has to be dealt with through some form of sanction. Same way with sanction Putin. Same thing, right? It's not God's intention that we trample on his rules, even if it's our wives. Wahala. I'm going to go post this video as a reply later on. All right. Let's. That was a lot, babe. What do you have to say about that, babe? That was a lot right there.
What do you want me to say? I have nothing to say. Because once you say something now, they'll say, boy, it's the rules in the Bible. Like, seriously?
It was some modern woman.
So let me keep up shut up my mother mouth, I beg.
I think I said a
have
lot
nothing to
already.
say.
I want to hear what you think about this, okay? On my assessment, see, I didn't make any judgment. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not saying either, but, you know, based off of what I can read, I don't know. It looks like I was able to predict the direction of that comment. But I want to know what you think. If you're listening to this at some point, please comment below and let us know what you think. Let's watch this one.
Can you date a man that doesn't moan during sex or make noise during sex?
I don't like him. I will not like him. If my husband, if you are doing fun, you are sex, you not make noise. I don't like him. So if they sound, my don't they tumble. She understand. So that's all.
You call it they make noise.
They make noise.
Give us your soundtrack.
You want to know my soundtrack?
She said soundtrack.
Hush. Wow, baby.
Oh my God. I love her, Jerry.
She's stupid.
She's being herself. Hey.
She's stupid. Yeah. So, soundtrack. Do you like soundtrack during sex, babe?
Who doesn't?
What do you mean?
Please, except if you're sleeping with a freaking wood.
Are you trying to say I
I
make
wanna
sounds
hear-
during sex?
I'm gonna record you one day. The only reason why I won't record you is because I don't want it to be leaked. Because you never know these days. I feel like if you record yourself, somehow it's gonna get out.
Wait, let's watch that again. Let's watch
As a woman,
that.
can you date a man that doesn't moan during sex or make noise during sex?
I don't like him. I will not like him.
See, I will not
if my
like her.
husband, if you are doing fun, you are sex, you not make noise. I don't like him. So if they sound, my don't they tumble.
Yes, sir.
She understand. So that's all.
You call it they make noise.
They make noise.
Give us your soundtrack.
You want to know my soundtrack?
Soundtrack.
Hush.
Yes, she really.
Oh, baby.
That's
Oh
funny.
my God. I
Yeah.
just love it. I don't know, Jerry. I love her.
Yeah.
A lot of
So,
women can express themselves like that. I give her, thumbs up.
so you're not weird if you make soundtracks during sex? I
Weird
guess.
care.
What, are you weird if you don't make any sound during sex?
I think that would be strange. You know what? It's not about being weird. It's about, are you even enjoying it?
Exactly. See, now we're
So,
getting to it.
If you're not enjoying it, I'm not going to enjoy it.
So it could be either you're enjoying it or if it's like a fling. If you're dodging, if you're doing like when we used to do inside car.
Even if you're dodging, won't you have to hold your mouth? Some people
No.
go, don't scream. Like,
Well,
you're still
those
feeling it.
scripts still sound like you're with the person you're supposed to be with. Maybe you're hiding from the kids. That's different. I'm talking about not marriage, but let's say you're having the kind of sex you're not supposed to be having. You're probably enjoying more so of the secrecy,
So
the-
people like
yeah.
that don't make noise?
No, if they don't
They
be
don't
surprised. My point is that if they don't, if it's just to knock one off and keep it moving, don't be that surprised. You get what I'm saying?
Because the reason why I said that is, it's not like you want to more. You just don't have a choice. Like, I feel
But
like
you have to
don't
feel
a choice.
relaxed.
You're feeling good.
Okay, my point is that you have to feel relaxed to a certain point to be
Okay,
that
I
comfortable
guess.
to let out your voice, right?
All right.
If you're in a situation where it's not like it's not your ideal. It's not what you would tell the whole world I'm doing right now, right?
Yeah, but I still think that's a different situation. There are people that I've heard that don't make noise when they're having
So we're talking
sex.
marriage anyway. We're talking marriage. So in marriage, you're saying it's pretty weird to not make any
It's
sound
very,
at all.
very freaking awkward.
I'm sure somebody will
'Cause I
say
feel
there is
like-
exceptions to that. I'm sure somebody
I'm
will
sure,
say,
I'm
like,
actually
you
sure that
know,
somebody
why,
will
you know.
come back at that and say, no, I just don't make noise, but I'm enjoying it.
So I'll take it
But
as this.
how will I know you're enjoying it if you're not making noise?
I'll take it as this. You enjoy it more when the other person is making some kind of noise, at least.
When I see that person is enjoying
you feel like that person, you enjoy
it makes
it
me
more.
more excited.
Okay, all right.
Like, actually want to do more of what I'm doing.
And here's the thing. For me too, the same thing. For me as well, it's the same thing. When I enjoy it more when I can tell that the other person, that my wife is enjoying it more.
Right.
And I think most people are like that. But I always leave room just for some exceptions out there. Maybe two people happen to
I'm sure
collide,
there are people like
and they're okay with just being quiet like a stone, like a rock.
Like,
You know.
I mean, I don't know how true this is, but
the olden
you
days?
know, I saw a movie one time, like Jewish people, for example.
Oh,
the
that part.
Orthodox Jewish people,
Right.
but according to what
That's
they
what they
said,
said.
they cut the cloth, like, and the guy will put his thing through it. They can't even see the thing, and they will put it in. I don't think the woman moans. I mean, except if it's something like that.
That
But
is
if you guys are
crazy.
like lovers that married each other for love or something, and you're enjoying sex, I don't see. Maybe for religious reasons, there are people that don't make noise.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Anyway,
What do I know?
that is that. Let's get back to the comments.
What do I know?
All right, so okay, we have all these people's minions. They're still here. Yeah, I think we should respond to this if there's any response.
Well,
Please,
you skipped
if you
one.
don't, did I? Oh, okay. This is actually more important. Actually, for me, it would be a 34-year sexless marriage in April 2022. Been 6 years and 5 months since the last time, and 5.5 years before that.
Wow.
By the way, this person edited it, which means it's as close as possible to the truth. They try to clean it up, but this still sounds crazy.
Wow.
Before that, and 4.5 years before that, I am dead inside,
Oh my God.
and I'm just waiting to die. This is probably an older person too.
This is such a sad situation. Very sad.
Well, here's the thing. We know that 15 to 20% of marriages are in sexless marriages, right?
Right.
That's just according to some studies, you know. But we also know that a lot of people, I mean, once we have anecdotal experience like this, somebody comes to say, it's, you know, I can't imagine. But we had a conversation on Clubhouse about 2 days ago about this, and what some people kept saying is that women weaponizing sex.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another word that they were using interchangeably with that, even though one guy, Precious is your name, you remember you, right? He tried to act like it's different. He said women withholding sex. It sounds like the same thing, right?
It's still the same thing.
Right. You're weaponizing sex or you're withholding sex. Okay, I guess withholding is a little nicer because you may be withholding it, but you don't want to, right? Weaponizing is that you know that this is going to hurt this guy. I'm going to hurt him
You're
anyway.
Being deliberate.
Yes. So what's your take on this, babe? What are you thinking?
I feel sad for the guy that is in a 34-year-old marriage and a sexless marriage.
Sounds like
He
3 years in the
basically-
last 5, 6, 4 years.
Yeah, he basically has sex every 3 to
15
4
years.
years.
Yeah. In the last 15 years, he had sex 3 times.
Ah. Hey, now wow.
So now if you as a woman feel that, imagine what a man feels.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine because now what I'm thinking in my head is it that bad that he does not love himself? Because this comes back to self-love.
Yeah.
If you tell me you're willing to be miserable in a marriage that does not serve you, or maybe it does in some other aspects that I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't but keep pointing the fingers at you and say, no, you don't love yourself. He said, I am waiting to die.
Yeah, it's
I'm dead inside.
34 years. It's crazy. Now,
That is sad.
The question I was asked that is it always the fault of the man? No. It's actually faults are irrelevant. Okay, and if we can decide to make faults relevant, blame, guilt, shame, condemnation, judgment, we can decide to make those things relevant. But what it will make you feel is make you feel worse.
It doesn't solve any situation.
Yeah, it makes you feel like somebody deliberately comes into your life and attack you. Like naturally you will want to defend yourself and attack back, right? In the worst way you can think of. If a woman comes to your life and decides to just withhold and weaponize sex, that sounds terrible, right? It's only natural for you to feel that person is just out to hurt you, right? And there are ways that you probably have been showing up in that relationship that's not healthy. There's nothing good about that, right? So I always tell people, I said, you don't want to look at it that way. It's a mindset. Walk away from the mindset that a woman is weaponizing sex. Instead, approach things from a standpoint of there's a way you were able to attract them in the first place. So I'm not talking about arranging marriage right now. I'm talking about an actual marriage where once upon a time, you actually were attracted to each other and you did it. Now, if you have celibacy, virginity in the beginning issues, you need to talk to the pastor that pastored you guys. You need to open up to them and let them know what you're going through.
Yes, so.
Right? But if we're just talking about you actually have done it before a few times, then it's probably a skill set, seduction skill set that you need to learn, right? And the longer you have gone without it, the harder it's going to be to come back to that space. Because it's easier to destroy, right? And it's harder to build.
Yeah.
That's everything. But once you figure it out, I'm about to put this away from.
Please stop
Why is
touching
it?
my
One second.
headphones.
Why is it even? Oh, okay. Let's see why. It's my fault.
Yeah.
All right.
Engineer, it's your fault.
Yeah. So once you, once you get in that space where you are, what was I saying? Bottom line is that
real.
you can. The bottom line is that there is a skill set, and it's going to be very hard. The longer you haven't done it in the past, it's going to be very, very hard. But it's doable, right? It's already hard, so there's nothing new about the fact that you're going through a hard life, right? So you might as well engage this skill set and see. And it depends on your particular wife or your husband. Depends on certain scenarios. But you need to seek help, and it's doable. You can do it. It's going to be hard, but it's already hard, so there's nothing new, right? And you can absolutely rekindle things and make it work again. But a lot of it is going to be attached to your ability to be able to listen and patience, right? Listening and patience. Because why listening? Because you need to hear this person. They're human. If they're a human being, they still get turned on one way or the other.
I hope so.
Yeah. Turned on doesn't mean they get wet down there.
Because it seems
Turned
like...
on could be just a little smile. Making her smile a
Well,
little
I
bit
hope
longer. Right? Make her laugh, smile, relaxed a little bit longer than you've been used to. So how are you going to figure out how to make her do that? Because she still laugh the way she just did. Then I can bet that is still doable. It's going to be hard. Don't get me wrong. It's going to take the other part of it, patience.
Well,
right?
he's going to want to do that. Because if it doesn't have it in him to like...
Well, he has to want to do that. Right.
It's not going to work.
So the one reason why people don't want to do that, because again, it's hard. You know,
hard, and people,
so it's going to test your
hate
patience.
Rejection, like
patience,
what's the point?
yeah. Rejection breeds obsession, right? But only up to a certain point. After a while, you're just resenting, right? You're obsessed, but then you start to resent.
You hate that person,
you know. And if you're in that resentment place, that's one of the things that makes it hard, because you can't help but to think of this woman as evil. For her, just laying down there with a whole big old ED and
you can't touch.
And you can't touch.
Oh,
that's just evil. That's just evil behavior. I could feel his pain right now.
I bet you can feel his pain. Well, you can't relate to his pain.
Nah,
I can't
not right
imagine.
now. No,
this guy
sorry.
is probably in his 60s, possibly.
I mean, it sounds like he's been going back and forth for at least 15 years with this person, because it says 6 years, 5 years, and 4 years.
Yeah.
Right? But he said 34 years
of marriage.
Sexless. So that person's probably in their 60s. Yes.
Wow.
So again, listening, patience, right? But those listening and patience, you have to apply to yourself first,
Yeah.
even before you worry about her, right? Have you listened to yourself long enough to even know what makes you kick? Are you patient with yourself? If you're not patient with yourself, you cannot be patient with another person.
Facts.
But once you're patient, you can figure out how to be patient with yourself. Now you can lean into her, listen to where she's coming out, what makes her laugh. Let's start with that. Something that's simple, where she can show some emotion, that she's relaxed, that you can penetrate to. Because the idea is you're looking to penetrate, right? But you have to penetrate the mind first, right? Mm-hmm. So if you can make her laugh and smile, and that means you've managed to penetrate her mentally, right? And then you can now move a little bit further and further and further. That's going to take patience. Sometimes you will relapse. Maybe she's angry all of a sudden again, and that makes you feel frustrated again. And then you fall back again. It's going to take you a lot of work. So a therapist, sex therapist, coach, counselor will be extremely helpful. Bottom line is that you need a support system. For a 34-year situation, you will need a support system to get through that process. And it could be a long process. It may not be that long, by the way. It may not be that long. It may just one little tweak sometimes. See, the human mind is a very tricky thing. One little tweak, if you hold on to the right point of leverage, can move a big thing, right? Just like in machines, like a car. Just one little, you start the car, the whole car will be vibrating in a second, right? So what is that point of leverage for you? Where is that ignition key? Kelly, ignition, right? Where is that ignition key? If you don't find that ignition, where that point of ignition is, if you're pressing out the wrong point, right? If you go in the engine, you go in the back, you're trying to start the car. If you go you're touching out the wrong places, right? You won't get the car started. If anything, you will keep putting dents on the car and even mess up the car. I hate to measure women to car, but I guess it kind of hit, right?
Yo,
but the point is that there's a point.
Very unpredictable.
Right.
And let me tell you, man, okay, if we can focus mentally, right here,
everything else becomes
everything
easier.
else is easier. You can put it anywhere you want. But the problem these days is, man, y'all be lazy. Okay, let's keep it real. You like you said, patience is needed, especially when it comes to us women. We are like the weather, like snowstorm right now. The next
So
minute
guess
we
what
are
they said at
calm.
this point, baby? So at this point they said, so are you saying it's always our fault? See, this is your problem.
It's not a matter of
No, wait.
fault. It's
That
understanding
question,
who you're with.
that question is part. That question keeps you. You will still not get laid with that question. If that question keeps creeping
Keep
into your
asking
mind,
question, and it will
that
take you
that
another
will
30
be
years.
precisely why you're not getting laid. You know what I'm saying? If you keep asking that question, if you're stuck on right and wrong, if you're stuck on who is at fault, who is to be blamed, the longer you're gonna have to wait to not get laid.
Right.
But if you approach this from a standpoint, this is romance we're talking about. We're talking about a romantic situation here, right? If she feels heard, you can penetrate everything, starting with the mental. So you need to penetrate the mental. And again, the longer it's been into the past, the harder it's going to be. It's going to be easier said than done. See how my mouth is
so
running.
hard.
My mouth is going to, the way my mouth is running right now, it's going to be a lot harder than that. But it's doable. But it starts with listening, patience, listening until she feels heard, smiling, get her to smile, get her to open up mentally first, and then you can penetrate everything else.
Not tit for tat. Lose
Yeah.
that.
You're making yourself equal to a woman by asking the question, so is it always my fault? Like, nigga, like, stop the question. Stop the
Especially
question.
when you're asking that question, are you looking for her to have sympathy on you? Because
Right.
that's not going to happen. Not in that moment. Because now you're saying, is it my fault? So are you saying
So,
it's my fault?
they always
Then
ask
you go
me,
back and forth.
actually, just 3 days ago on Clubhouse,
Right.
they actually asked me this question. They said, what if it's this woman who is feeling like they're in a sexless marriage? Does the same rule apply? Because it sounds like I'm blaming the man. What do you say to that?
Or if it's a woman that is in a sexless marriage.
Like, your husband is not touching you. And,
I always feel like when it comes to like women and men, I feel like women, we know a man's. We know his button. We know how.
It's like
when
you were
to
there.
press. It's
It's
like your mumu button. I have it.
It's like you were there.
Is that what
See,
you
she
said?
ran away from Clubhouse a long time
Oh.
ago now.
Clubhouse is another. People talk too much.
I said, well,
can't.
I said, yes, it's the same goddamn thing, except that it may actually be easier for her, and it's okay that it's easier for her. Don't stop competing with the woman. She needs to press some kind of mumu button. This is the same when I said ignition key just now, right? She needs to find, and he said, what if the mumu button does what? I said, that means it's not the mumu button.
That means you've
Did
not
you hear
figured-
yourself?
No, you've not figured out that man's
Right?
mumu button.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's no man, especially in the Bible, clearly in the Bible.
For those-
all the men that were brought down were brought down
For
by
those that may
women.
not understand mumu button, we're saying the point of leverage. Right? The point of leverage, every human being has a point of leverage that makes them relax to the point that they're willing to give themselves, especially their heart to you. Every human being has it.
You might have to do a little work.
It's
Study
work.
this person.
There's
that
work
you're with.
involved in
Come
finding whatever that thing is. It's going to be a lot of listening to the point that you feel like it's unfair. Yes, it's natural that you feel like it's unfair, but you also want to disengage from that feeling as fast as you can do that, because the more you engage with that feeling, the more you will get stuck with, hey, that's not fair. You're right. Then you keep getting not laid. You stay in a sexless situation. It's not your fault. You're right. It's not your fault, but you keep creating that same result though.
Right. I have this podcast that I listen to.
Yeah.
I mean, not to promote it, but hey,
No, that's fine.
I can use it to help my sisters and my brothers that are struggling.
Right.
It's
No,
called,
first of all, they should listen to our podcast too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and promote that. before I say
If you're
my-
here, you already listen to our podcast. But our podcast is called Empire Lifestyle. You can find the recordings of this stuff on the go. You can listen on the go if you want to.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, this podcast is called Sex with Emily. Okay.
Okay.
And let me tell
I
you
didn't know you've been
something.
listening to stuff.
No,
like
I listen to a lot.
But you didn't share that one with me.
Instead of being on Clubhouse, I'd rather listen to things that will help me progress. Okay?
Jesus.
Because honestly, people be talking too much, and sometimes you're like, oh my God, is this adding value or is taking away from me? So I can't deal with that.
No, on Clubhouse
I like
is basically
to
people who just
digest.
want to talk. They don't need to solve the problem.
Exactly. So
If you're not okay with people just regurgitating their problems, you need to stay away.
it's toxic
away from,
for me, I'm sorry.
Stay away from Clubhouse.
So I listen to Sex with Emily, and
Mm-hmm.
in fact, everything they say, because she brings like professionals all the time.
Okay.
It makes absolute sense. And they said she brought a doctor that said once, it's like a sex therapist. He said that actually, your brain, the brain is the biggest organ in the body.
Right.
It's like the biggest sex organ in the body. He said because everything starts from the brain.
It is.
And you got to take care of your brain. Because naturally, as human beings, when something is wrong, we focus on the wrong.
Yep.
Instead of focusing on
The
that
brain
wrong,
focuses on the
why
wrong.
don't you, focus on the positive things that person gives to you? And when you teach your brain to focus on the positive, things get easier for you.
Yeah.
And it makes absolute
With time,
sense.
because that's why the patience is needed. If you say, "Hey, I've tried that for 2 days, it doesn't work," that's your problem.
No, you can't try that for 2 days and give up. You
That's
are
the
not
problem,
a patient
right? Yeah.
person if you say, "Oh, I've done that for 2 days."
Somebody
No.
says, "So how much patience are we talking about?" Because
Infinite
the-
patience.
It's like, someone said, "How much patience that are we talking about?" Because this person, because they gave a story of a person that has been in sexless marriage for 2 years, that the wife had been weaponizing. So sorry, babe. Next time, this is hanging off of a cable that I can't remove right now.
Yes.
All right. So I was like, well, I have the answer for that. And one other guy who has listened to me long enough, like, Ola doesn't have a number for you. I was like, actually, I have a number. I said it's infinite patience.
Yeah.
It's literally, you have to have infinite patience, because if you put the reason being, if you put a ultimatum on your patience, that ultimatum will come quick.
Yeah, and it will fail.
And then it will fail.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
we have to, as human beings, especially with the way the world is moving so fast, we are not patient human beings.
Yeah.
Every day when I pray,
See, when I say that, they think
what I pray for is God give me a spirit of patience.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm always in a rush to where?
Yeah. When I say that, right, it's like I'm saying I'm macho. that I figured it out, and they actually missing the point. The point I'm saying is that I struggle with patience just like you.
I'm telling you, patience is so hard.
Just like you. But I've learned enough to know that struggle is what I need to address. Right in his face like that. Like I need to basically decapacitate it. I need to destroy completely the idea of not having patience. Like I need to be absolute about it, right? And so it's a mindset when you say infinite patience. It doesn't mean you're not human. It just means you understand that, hey, I should always check my level of patience.
Right.
It doesn't mean you don't have limitations. It doesn't mean that you're not human, that one day you will just run out of patience. You're human. There will be days that you just feel like, okay, that's too much. I can't have patience.
And it's okay. Yeah. It's absolutely okay to be human.
Right.
You know? But it will also help you with your level of expectations.
Expectations.
Like, how dare us? How dare me?
Yep.
How dare I expect so much of my husband? He's only human now. Kilo de. When you think of it that way, it makes sense.
Yep.
Even of yourself. How dare you expect so much of yourself?
Of yourself. You know, funny enough, it's like you were there. I said, at one point, I was able to talk for a little bit longer. I said, listen, somebody start to use language like expert. We know these things. It could be hormonal thing that, you know, but they will say all this thing and then they will end with but. I was like, let me just say your problem right now. Your problem is that you're trying to answer every question, you know. So your problem is that you think you have to answer every goddamn problem that your wife presents to you. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that husbands make. When she's complaining about something and you feel like...
She just wants you to listen sometimes.
You know, you're complaining about something, I can see the solution. Well, that's lack of patience. That's lack of patience.
Yep.
It's a reflection on your lack of patience because she needs to go through a certain process as a typical woman in order before she can get to consolidating things and then, okay, that's the solution. But if you're very quick to get to the solution, you're actually missing out on your opportunity to stimulate her mind. Because those are some of the things, the fact that you're able to listen, to let her go through that process, some of the things that stimulate her mentally to the point where she feels safe and secure around you so you can penetrate everything you want to penetrate.
Right.
But if you're not able to stay that long, if you're one of these little boys out here who want to play fair with women, you're going to struggle with this 100% of the time. And you're going to keep going back to the fact that you're right. And I agree that you're right. It's unfair, right? But again, you'll be missing out because you're not willing to sow, right? Before you can reap. Speaking of how women communicate and how to, the process that she has to get through, right? I think we're going to end this stream with this, right?
Right.
The process she has to get through before you can penetrate her. Yes, fuck your logic. It doesn't make sense to the human mind. The human mind doesn't operate off of logic. That's the whole idea of this logic, there's emotions. And we're talking about sex with a romantic partner here, not with the wood. Right. If you want to have sex with wood, sure, all you have to do is start penetrating. Or with a doll, right? You can buy a doll.
Want someone with emotions,
but there's a reason why you want a person with emotions. There's a reason why you want that. So instead of complaining and bitching about it, learn how it works and then use it over and over for the rest of your life in your favor, right? So I'm going to play this clip, this last clip of the day, and I think you will laugh.
Clip of the day.
Yep.
Ah, my man.
I don't see gay. I want a serious relationship.
You mean I'm...
I mean I'm...
Oh, my God.
You should say if you are the woman. Bro, what did that to handle woman? Don't be sure to lean on bank account, breakfast in bed. Yeah, you know this.
So for those of you that don't understand pidgin, sorry, let me translate. They said, are you sure do you understand women? Right. And they said, what is there to understand about women? And then they say bank account, right?
Breakfast in bed.
Breakfast in bed. You know, it's fair. This is the part that...
Shoulder to lean on.
Shoulder to lean on, right?
Yeah.
My guy, you sure say you smart enough to answer a woman question?
Yes. She don't answer you now. Yes, I can answer a woman.
You can answer a woman's question?
Yeah.
Hey, baby.
Hey, how you doing? Very good. And my favorite company that just observe and do things.
Hey, babe.
Yeah?
About that thought of what I was thinking, do you think I should follow my thoughts of what I was thinking? But I'm thinking my thinking is correct, just that I don't think my thinking of my thinking is wrong. What you think?
Which kind of question?
You're supposed to be the answer to that question. Don't be you enter a relationship.
My thoughts about.
See, again, they're always trying to answer every question. He pulls out a book, right? So he can take notes, right? So he can use the formula over and over again. That is also an indication of lack of patience to listen over and over, right? Because they think, hey, you told me something like this yesterday, you're saying something else today. So he pulls out a note. He wants to take notes on what a woman wants, I guess, right?
What you're thinking is just follow what you think you are thinking and do what you're thinking.
Exactly, but that's why I'm asking you for your thoughts about my thinking. What do you think is the right thing to think?
Babe, I'm thinking about what you're thinking. I think the thoughts of your thinking is the right thing to think. So do what you think, babe.
That nigga said, do what you think, babe. Right? But if you look at his facial expression, it looks like he's numb. This is the part where a lot of young men will say, husbands that somebody has taken, I forgot the language they use, you're not in your frame, you're in her frame. But it's actually reverse. If you want her to be in your frame, you make her feel like she's right, and then she'll be in your frame, right? This guy, the husband here, is playing along because he has stuff to do. You understand that this patient is exercising right now is paramount. It's important. But of course, young men don't understand this because they're like, no, you're operating in a frame. No, you're missing the point. He's going to actually be fast. You argue in a toxic way with a woman, you're going to spend a lot more time arguing about bullshit when you can just let her go through that process
and get no sex.
Yeah, it's an extreme example, but it's so real. Oh yeah, and not get laid, right?
Yes, but my thoughts might not be exactly what you think I'm thinking. That's why I need you to stop thinking what you think I'm thinking and tell me what you think.
But I'm thinking what you're thinking, and your thoughts about what you think I'm thinking is not what I'm thinking. So I think you should stop thinking what you think I'm thinking and do what you think.
Relationship for everybody. Now for only people who go school.
I think I don't get the answer. I think what he's thinking about your thought is the right thing to be thought about in this thing.
I think you don't.
Wrong! And it's still wrong. It's still wrong.
Think what I think you think I'm thinking. So you should stop thinking the thing you think I think you think that I think you think I'm thinking. So think and tell me what you think.
Guy!
Okay, I think you should cook rice instead of beans.
I think I'll cook beans instead.
Jesus!
What have I been saying?
You sure say you still want a relationship like this?
Wait, so I ever thought the guy was figuring out. He was confused even after the fact.
Don't think.
I thought so.
All right. The point of this is, it's all about feelings. I'm sorry. I know nobody they don't like to hear that. It's all about feelings, and feelings are like the weather. They change their mind from time to time.
Yes, so.
And trying to figure it out is just as good as a forecast. That's all you can do.
Yes, sir.
The forecast can be wrong.
All the time.
Sometimes. But it gets better with time. And then you have percentages. You say there's a 20% percentage of rain tomorrow. Then you get better. Next thing you say, okay, there's a 70% percentage of rain tomorrow.
It's not 100%.
It's never going to be 100%. That is the humility you need to bring to relationships and marriage. Don't ever think it's 100%. There's no 100% nothing. And the more you understand this, the more you get laid.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the secret. Now, this is easier said than done. So, if you need help to figure this out, find a coach, find a sex therapist, find a counselor.
Don't be shy.
Subscribe, like this video.
Now, even if you have a spouse that is not willing to go to a sex therapist, you go ahead and figure things out. But
even better.
Start by yourself. I feel like a lot of people are, oh no, he doesn't want to go. Oh, she doesn't want to go, so I'm not going.
It's even better. I always tell people it's actually better that you actually encounter that roadblock. I think individual therapy is better because you don't end up in a situation where you just arguing back and forth.
And you learn more about yourself.
You learn more about yourself
first.
You'll
be surprised the things that will come out about you, and you'll be like, oh my God, I had no clue. I didn't know I was like that. And you will see clearer, and you will see why your spouse sees you the way they see you.
And then you can relax, and then the person that you've engaged their professional help can also help you as a support system in order to be able to invite them properly.
Yes.
Because being able to invite them properly to therapy session is key. Your expectations of the therapy session is key. But if you go together because you both agree, let's go to therapy, what you're going to end up doing is argue and waste money on an hourly session and get nothing out of it.
Well, are we saying that they shouldn't go to therapy together?
You should, if you're not in that extreme toxic place. If we're talking about 34 years sexless marriage, no, you shouldn't go to therapy
go by
together.
yourself first.
You should go by yourself first. Depends on the extent of the damages you've created in your relationship together. Remember, the damages are created by two of you, right?
Yep. It's not one person.
If you feel like the damages is extensive, you need to go by yourself first, so that you don't waste money in an argument session, because they feel they're right, you feel you're right, everybody feels they're right. You're just going to be in a right and wrong Olympics.
A rat race.
You're not going to get anywhere. But if you go by yourself, you express what you're feeling to whoever is helping you, they'll say, okay, all right. Then they'll help you determine the right time to invite them and how to invite them, and then you get the best results out of the session. Individual therapy is underrated.
It is.
And
it
couples
really
therapy is overrated. You like that?
Yeah, it's the next new thing. You know, everybody's talking about
couples therapy is overrated.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that the ground is fertile for the seeds you're trying to sow.
Right.
And usually it's not with couples therapy. Couples therapy is beautiful for people that are in good space and they want to spice things up. Like if me and you agree that I want to spice things up, then sure, do couples therapy. But if we're in a very bad place where we feel like we're living in a broken marriage, sexless marriage. Sexless marriage means you haven't had sex in more than 3 months and you haven't identified as a health or medical issue.
Now, for
That's a
those people
sexless
that
marriage.
think, oh no, we have an understanding, you know, we're just busy people.
Sure.
And we have sex, you know, once a month.
Guess what?
They're not complaining.
Guess what?
So it's not sexless marriage.
Guess what?
What?
They are right.
Exactly.
As long as both of them are
I
saying
just had
Yeah.
to clear that part out
Yeah.
because there are
as long
people-
as both of them are saying it simultaneously.
Right.
Now, if you're the one saying that by yourself, you may just be fooling yourself. Okay. I would make sure that the other person feels that
Feels the
way.
same way, yeah.
I would just make
Absolutely.
sure. But there's nothing that's impossible. There's exception to every rule.
Yes, so.
There's no absolutes in anything we say here.
No absolutes.
Yeah.